Belo Horizonte, how do you describe this place? It's sort of the Brazil that surprises you. The Brazil, a city that has grown up to its benefit outside the glare of international attraction. I think places like Rio, Sao Paulo, and Brasilia in a different way are international cities people have lots of images of. No one really knows what Belo Horizonte looks like. And it's only when you come here do you realise its strategic importance in the history of Brazil. You know, if you're interested in beaches and caipirinhas and beautiful people, go to Rio for sure. It's a beautiful place, I know. But if you want to understand a little more about, or a lot more about, the Brazil of the next 30 years, then I'd come here, because to understand your future you must first understand your past. And the past is what's made this city. Just over 100 years old, a young city in world terms, but a city that very much reflects the history of Brazil, and also some great places to eat.
Meat's amazing. This sauce is very good too. So what's this sauce?
Esse aqui é o molho de siriguela, esse é o melaço da rapadura e a farinha de piqui.
I think if you have any knowledge of South American food, I've been to Peru, I've eaten kind of food from Central America too. There is an expectation that the food is hearty food. It's not fancy, it's honest food. So I was expecting honest food. I think what surprised me was the massive regional differences in Brazil. I mean, we know Brazil's a big country, but I hadn't realised quite how big and quite how different, that the diet changes from the south to the middle part, to the north, to the northeast, all these different influences. I was surprised by how much simplicity there is in the food. I think a lot of food cultures hide behind complexity. They use many different ingredients and many different spicings and flavorings to hide their culture, and I think there's an honesty about Brazilian food. I mean, in all the botecas I ate in, and also some of the other places, you know, kind of just the coffee shops, the bars and the rest, you realise the link between people and food is very close here. I mean, I don't understand Portuguese, but you don't need to understand Portuguese. If you understand passion, you see customers speaking to, you know, the bar owners about the food, discussing the food, the passion about the food, how much pride there is in the food. And just also driving through, I don't think I've been to a city where there seems to be so many places to eat. It's like, again, it's very much like India. Very much like India. I think what surprised me was the lack of spices in the food. I thought the food would be much spicier than it is. Now, there are spices you can add to the food wherever you go. There's chili sauce, peppers, and all sorts. But it's not contained within the food, which surprised me. But also I think the social history link with the food. The use of cassava surprised me greatly. I mean, I knew cassava to be an African root, tuber, call it what you will. I didn't think it would be quite so prominent in Brazil. And then how it's used in so many different ways. You can see in the food the Portuguese influence, the Spanish influence, the slave influence, sometimes the Arabic influence. And all these influences come together in different ways, changing depending on the dish and the region and the area, you know. But a lot of meat, and I celebrate that. I celebrate the meat of Brazil. Brazil, thank you for your meat.